It's taken me so much to actually like recollect and gather my thoughts to put this part of the video together. This whole situation and what happened for me to actually get to this point is so ingrained and etched into my psyche, like I couldn't get rid of it even if I wanted to. So I'm going to give you some context so you understand exactly what happened for me to kind of get to this point. So initially, I'm from London. If you couldn't tell, I moved from London to another city, a city called Manchester. Now, I moved from London to Manchester specifically for this role. Like, I was in a full-time relationship. I had family, friends. Like, London is all I ever knew, period, when it comes to the UK, of course. Now, during this period, I didn't really want to move to Manchester, but I did anyway because I felt like this was the right direction that I needed to take to really elevate and boost my career, right? So I took the role, I moved. I remember sharing an apartment. It wasn't even an apartment, it was a house with 10 people. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like, oh my God, it felt like I was back at uni. Imagine 10 people just like walking around in the crib. Like, it was just crazy, right? Had my own ensuite, so like ensuite bathroom and all of that. So that made it a little bit better. But that's just to kind of like give you the levels of sacrifice that I had to make in order for me to kind of just start elevating and basically just kickstart my career, right? Now I moved to Manchester, started this role. This role was actually created for me. This role wasn't available. It was created for me. I applied for something. They gave me something else that was obviously better and they made room for me. Right away, that caused severe animosity and hostility amongst the other people that were currently working there. Anyway, neither here nor there. Now, during that period, I obviously formed my own connections and relationships with different people. And there was one girl in particular. This girl, we grew really close, right? Just a platonic friendship, by the way. We grew super close. I'm talking like I'd pick her up, we'd go to work together, we'll come back, we'll chill in her crib, we'll break bread, met her family, all that good stuff, right? I was essentially like mentoring her and coaching her. If we look at like the hierarchy at work, I had my manager, then it was me, and then it was her, right? And there were other people as well in these different layers. And during that period, my manager just wasn't the best. He wasn't a leader. He was just a manager. He wasn't a leader. It really, really affected the way things went within our department. It was very toxic. It was very hostile. It was very every man for themselves, right? And for me, I was literally putting my best foot forward every single time. I actually liked the role. I liked a lot of what I did during the time, albeit it was very, very, very demanding. It literally drained the living daylights out of me. Like, I'll just keep it a buck. It was a lot. It was very, very heavy. I was working like 14, 15-hour days. I would have times that I would travel and I'd be expected to come to work the next day, and that's after coming back at like 2 a.m. It was crazy. You'd be put in like the worst hotels. But anyway, neither here nor there. I need you to understand this. During this period, I was promised a promotion. I was supposed to be on the pathway to becoming a manager. I'm sure you see where this is going, right? It didn't happen. During this time, my manager was away. He went away. This was Black Friday. Best time for the manager to go away, right? He was away and I was carrying the weight of my entire team on my shoulders. Now, during the time that this happened, or even before this, we had lost almost 60% of our team. I think we had like 9 people and then it went down to like maybe like 4 or 5 or something like that. And during this period, obviously me and the girl that I was talking about in the beginning, the person that was supposed to be my friend, during that time when my manager was away, what had happened was I was managing everything. I was doing everything. I was basically doing 2 people's job. This was during Black Friday. Like, I need you to understand, this was during Black Friday. Like, this is crazy. Now, during this time, I had a rant to her. Again, we have this relationship. This isn't me just like talking to someone, yapping to someone, and like, I don't really know if they're cool. Like, she hadn't given me a reason to not trust her up until that point. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, never trust people at work. Like, hey man, that's just what happened. I had the worst day. I remember that day, I think I was working like 15 hours. I went in the morning, I think it was like 6, and I didn't get home till like probably 2 a.m. that day. During that time, I think I had a break. I had a yap with her. I had a rant with her. I was bitching. I was complaining. I was talking about management. I was talking about certain people that work on the team. Yappa, yappa, yappa. Like, who hasn't done that, right? Like, we've all done that. That happened. She had her own rant. She was chatting about this and chatting about that. But little did I know, this girl was recording the conversation the whole time. I need you to understand that part. This girl was recording the conversation the whole time. So, she recorded the conversation. That's unbeknownst to me, right? I didn't know she recorded the conversation. I just went about my day. I felt like, ooh, I got that off my chest. I went to sleep. Now, a couple days after, why am I all getting a message to say that I've been called in for an investigation? I was like, Investigation? What's that about? I just got pulled from my desk. It was so embarrassing, man, because we had like an open plan office and there was so many people that worked there, right? Like hundreds of people that worked there. Big corporate place. And I just remember being pulled out and saying, hey, like, you need to leave, like, pack your stuff, let's go. Got to the place. I'm so baffled, like, done like a walk of shame. And it's just like, okay, what's actually going on here? I sit down and a conversation starts. And it's like, do you remember the night of XYZ? I was like, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, Bridget. Like, I don't know. And then it starts going, you see where this is going. He starts going, the guy that was investigating me. Mind you, we were in the most clinical room you could imagine. It was like no windows, super bright. I felt like I was in an interrogation room in prison, right? So he's asking me so many questions. I remember being in this room for hours. No drink of water, no toilet break, nothing. Sit down here. I've got questions to ask. You are going to answer them, period. That's just how it went. Then he starts telling me, oh, the reason why you've been brought in is because of certain things that you said. I said, okay, like, what did I say? Next thing he does is just play the recording. And I'm just hearing my voice. I'm hearing my voice and I'm not hearing her voice. And I'm thinking, not this girl recording the conversation. Sent it to human resources, so HR. And then HR's just gotten their hands on this. And yeah, like, I was dismissed. I just remember crying. I'm lucky to be on this earth because I'm pretty sure that I would have had a car crash driving home from work because I just had so much water in my eyes. Like, I couldn't even believe it. And I think that the issue with this is the fact that the circumstances in which I was going to get fired, obviously by this point it was just still an investigation. I did eventually get fired, but what the absolute hell am I supposed to do? I've moved my entire life over for this job. I just didn't know what to do in that moment. The circumstances in which I had been fired meant that I would have gone down for gross misconduct. The gross misconduct in question was that I was basically chatting shit and yapping and ranting to someone about other people at work and the workplace and all that kind of stuff, and it was deemed as unprofessional because we've all never ranted in the workspace or anywhere in our lives about a job. Like, come on, let's be so for real. Like, you could pretty much say that I was blacklisted from the industry overnight because of where I worked. Like, people know people. I was absolutely distraught. Distraught is an understatement. In fact, I'm gonna show you on the screen. I actually thought I was going to unalive myself. It's not even I thought, I wanted to unalive myself. I had to get some antidepressants. Like, I had to like sign off. Like, I just wasn't fit to do anything. I was useless. Absolutely useless. I just literally couldn't believe that someone I trusted, someone that I poured into as a mentor, and someone that I genuinely wanted to see win could just do me dirty like that. I couldn't understand it. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So during the time where I was kind of waiting and I was under investigation, I had already booked a trip to Thailand with my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. During that period, we were in Thailand. It was a good holiday, but I just remember it constantly playing on my mind, like, what's the decision going to be? Because at this point, I didn't know if I was going to get fired. I just kind of thought, yo, God needs to come through, because the basis on which they're kind of like coming with this, like, it's very unlikely that I would have been able to keep my job. So what happened was, in Thailand, I just got the email, I'll pop it up, and it pretty much said, yo, like, you're getting fired. That was literally it. It was absolutely insane to me that I went from the hardest worker in the room and putting my life and soul into this and having 15-hour days and doing all this shit, and just overnight, that was just it. Nah. You hear about these things, you never think it's gonna happen to you, especially not in this type of circumstance, right? I was just absolutely distraught. And the worst part is I didn't have savings. Like, I'll show on the screen somewhere here, like, you can see just payment refusal after payment refusal, you insufficient funds. Like, the absolute bottom barrel feeling that I had just cannot be described, and I don't actually wish that on my enemy, honestly speaking. It was just the worst experience. And at the time, my girlfriend just got a promotion, and I honestly feel like if she hadn't got that promotion, we would probably just be in the bin, to be honest with you. Yeah, maybe I could have just got a job in, you know, the local supermarket or McDonald's or whatever, but in that moment, like, you're not really thinking about stuff like that. I remember having to ask her for money. She was basically carrying us, and, you know, shout out my wife, because she is absolutely incredible. And yeah, during that period, insufficient funds, I didn't have a pot to piss in, no savings, no nothing, like absolutely nothing. Would not recommend. Now, the real choice became, do I try and rebuild my career, or just kind of, you know, wing it and hope that no one asks, oh, what happened to you in this company, or like, why did you leave, or why is there this gap, or any of those type of questions? Or it was the whole make money online thing. And the make money online thing was something that I was seeing. This was like way back in the day, like 2018, 2019 Twitter, when it was still called Twitter. I was kind of seeing like young guns was like really about this life, making money, making online money. And I found it very, very fascinating and interesting. And that's when I learned a lot about, copywriting, sales, Facebook advertising, all that kind of stuff. So I always kind of like had it in the back of my mind. I always kind of, was buying courses, but I wasn't really doing anything with it. And I think it was really because of that safety net, that security. And irrespective of the fact that I was always complaining, I need to get out of this job, I didn't do anything. And I always say that I feel like I manifested my current situation. I manifested that situation and that reality, because had I not, and had this, situation not have happened to me, I wouldn't be here to tell you this story, right? So yeah, like I was blindsided by the promises of promotions, and every time, things would be at work, I would kind of go in this volatile state, this toxic state of, this place, like these lot, like I'm gonna try and, make it as an entrepreneur. Boy, oh boy, I did. And then they would kind of dangle the carrot again. Oh, we're going to promote you, And, I then got back into that cycle of, what? It's not that bad. And you probably know what I'm talking about. It's probably happened to you in some form or capacity. Now, I'm sure it's pretty obvious which route I took. I took the, let me try and make money online thing work. So after we came back from our holiday from Thailand, I then decided that I was going to go all in. I remember buying a course at the time. And this was the first kind of like starting your own agency course. And I just literally was going through that course morning, noon, and night. I was eating that up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I was literally fully immersed in it. And I said to myself, this has to work. I had a lot of pride back then. I wouldn't say pride as in like, I thought I was but in the sense of like, I didn't want my wife to have to keep paying for our rent, our bills, all this type of things. So for me, it was kind of like fuel that I used, where I said to myself, you know what, like I need to make this work. I don't want my wife, who has just had a promotion, she's just gotten a great job, she just had a promotion, like her pay went from here to like here. It's literally unheard of, the amount that she was making when she got promoted. She worked for a US company. Yeah, like I just said to myself, like I have to make this work. There was no plan B. Like it had to work. I had to brute force success, which is kind of like the mindset that I've now adopted with everything that I do in life. Now, instead of like panicking, I just thought, yep, you know what, I'm just gonna go all in. So that's what I focused my time on. At the time, I kind of thought to myself, okay, the course that I bought was for SMMA, which is social media marketing. I also knew that I knew how to run ads. Like I said before, I was managing the advertising budget for very big brands, right? So I had that experience. It wasn't an issue at the time. So I thought, yeah, like I can do this for brands, right? I can do Facebook ads and I can do social media marketing. Boy, oh boy. The minute I started, it was just like, nah, this ain't it, dog. Like, yo, it was so, you think social media marketing is saturated now? It was so saturated back then. I think loads of people kind of dropped off from it, but I did that and I really just focused on learning the core fundamentals of business as a whole. So yes, I was learning Facebook ads and learning about social media marketing, but I was also learning sales. I was learning copywriting, like all these things. And I always felt like really called to write copy and really called to understand more about why people do the things that they do. And very quickly, I just kind of pivoted. I remember booking my first call, an in-person meeting that I had booked, and it was with a guy in a kitchen company. On top of like the whole me being frustrated with, hey, this is super saturated. I remember driving like 2 hours to this guy, had a good conversation, and he said, oh, I don't have any money, but I can give you money like once you make me money. And I just thought, nah, man, like I'm out. I just got pissed off, right? And I know that wasn't the right mindset to have as a beginner, but I just thought, nah, like I'm gonna pivot, because I just couldn't see myself doing that 10 times. And also I just didn't have the patience for it. Again, I needed to make this work and I needed to make it work quick. So like I said, I pivoted to email marketing, and I thought about email marketing for a very long time. I thought, well, no one's really offering email marketing. I actually like the kind of like copywriting element of it. And also this was something that brands didn't have to actually spend money on, like with Facebook ads, because I found that I was having to convince people to not only work with me, but then it's like, oh, now you gotta like spend 2-3K a month on top of the money that you're gonna give me. Like it was so hard to convince people at the time, especially as a beginner. You just had lack of confidence, weak source, weak game, zilch, right? So I pivoted to email marketing. I learned a lot from courses that I bought. I learned from the Klaviyo Academy. Shout out Klaviyo. They have so many good free resources and tools that you can use to learn. I learned sales. I immersed myself in YouTube videos. You gotta understand, like this was me every single day, right? I had nothing else but this to do. And I talk a lot about using your disadvantage and allowing it to become your advantage. And this was one of mine, right? Like I had more time than money and I had no distractions, no kids at the time. So this was like, it wasn't easy, but it was just like easy for me to just really just lock-in. Now, the breakthrough for me was when I started pitching to brands. I was kind of saying, yo, like, I own my own agency, boy, oh boy, bruh. Like, it was just me, come on. But I was kind of going in with the whole, like, oh, I'm an agency, and I just realized that it just wasn't working. It didn't bang. I had no clients, nothing. I couldn't prove myself. So then I had this light bulb moment, and this changed everything for me. And this is actually how I got my first client. I think it was about 30 days. I'll show the receipts, don't worry. And in that period, in that time, I actually repositioned myself as an email marketing consultant that works with a select number of brands. Now, the reason why this worked oh so well and so beautifully, and it served me for so long up until I built out my own team, is because of the positioning, right? It's because of the fact that I wasn't competing with the big agencies anymore. And I also wasn't a freelancer that was just, kind of doing this on the side. It was like, hey, like, I'm a consultant. I work with a select number of people. That added, high leverage. This is a one-to-one experience. You're getting me. It's not 10 other people. And that really, really, really changed the trajectory of things for me. And the reason this matters is because I had zero authority, zero clients. Like, I had all, right? So I had to work with what I had. And this worked so freaking well. So during this time when this worked, I was booking calls. And the early days were literally me waking up at 5 o'clock, banging out the work. When I say banging out the work, I was reaching out to brands. I was messaging them. And then in the evenings, I would focus on actually building that skill. It was really important that I got, the grunt work, the high leverage activities out of the way first. And those high leverage activities were reaching out to brands, trying to get clients. This is all that matters in the beginning, rather than spending, the mornings learning. Like, that wasn't what I was doing. It was go out there, find clients, prospects, DM, follow up, and then in the evening it's okay, I'm going to now learn this. So I think it was like the first 4 hours of the day was just purely spent on that, and then the latter was just spent on learning the skill. Super, super important. So what I was doing is I was also sending manual cold emails. So these were hyper personalized emails. I remember I was having fun with it, making it quirky, making it interesting, making it stand out. And I always got complimented on the cold emails that I was sending. I'll pop some up on the screen here so you can see. And I was able to get my first client within 30 days. I was also doing Instagram direct messages. Obviously, like, different strokes for different folks. Some things work better than others. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. This is super important because I see a lot of people crying. It's like, oh, it's not working. And it's like, bruh, like, come on. You have to put in the reps. You have to do so much volume that it just would not make sense that you wouldn't be successful. Shout out Hormozy, Alex Hormozy. That is what I was doing at the end of the day, because all I could give as a beginner that had no money, that was poor, was time. That's all I could give. So I had to do more of it. I had to do more of the outreach, more of the trying to get people to book calls with me. That was super, super important. So what I did was I picked a lot of brands that I felt that I could work with. I signed up to their email list. I studied what they were doing, what they weren't doing. And I was sending out, personalized videos to them and letting them know, hey, like, I've noticed a couple of things with your email marketing. I can help you out. And that is essentially like what I was doing day in, day out. Now, I decided to go with online brands. That is what I had the most experience in. So I was going with e-commerce brands that were selling to consumers online. And I had a lot of experience with that, obviously, when I worked for JD, with brands, etc. So those were the type of businesses that I was targeting. And the good thing is the TAM, so the total addressable market, how many people there are that actually fit in this criteria. There are thousands of e-commerce brands, right? So this is essentially like what I was doing and what I felt was the best use of my time. Because what you don't want to do, what I was thinking was, oh, I don't want to like exhaust the time. And again, it goes back to the whole social media marketing thing, where I think I was working with like financial advisors at one point, don't ask. And I just found that, like, I've spoken to every financial advisor that there is right now. Like, what the am I supposed to do now? Like, they've all literally pied me off. They've ghosted me. Whereas with e-commerce, it's like, like, e-commerce brands get started every day, B. So I was just like reaching out to these brands every single day. And eventually I got my first client. Now, what really was painful at the time was the rejection. And this is something that's just going to happen. Like, at the end of the day, nothing is personal. It's just business at the end of the day. But again, I don't know why I just had this tenacity in me. I just had that dog in me, right? Like, I was just continuously going. And I always had the mindset that it just takes one. It literally just took one client to change the entire trajectory of not only my life, but my entire bloodline, right? Like, when you really deep it, it's like, I've learned this thing. I've built a business with this thing. This thing has now helped my family. This thing is going to help my kids, because it's the foundation of what has actually set the path and the trajectory of me being able to become wealthy. But it was the thing, right? It was the catalyst. It was what has gotten me to this point. And it's the thing that's going to allow me, or has allowed me, to do things like buy property, venture into other projects and businesses and help and philanthropy and all that good stuff. Like, it is because of this thing. Honestly, I'm so grateful to God that I've been able to learn this thing that has allowed me to just do amazing and incredible things, not just for myself, but those around me as well. So another thing that I did was follow-ups. A lot of people will usually just kind of message one person and then they just think, oh, this person is, they've ghosted me or they're not interested. Couldn't be further from the truth. I was following up till they told me to literally off. Like, I did not give a heck, because at the end of the day, it is my duty for me to be able to offer services to people and get them results. That's the mindset that I had, and that's the mindset that everyone should have when you're doing something. Like, keep going. Like, the money really and truly is in the follow-up. If you can't be bothered to follow up, the next guy is going to take your lunch by doing the follow-up. And most of the time, what I was finding is that a lot of these brands, they're just busy at the end of the day. Again, it's nothing personal, right? They're just busy. So the more that I can stay in their mind and the more that I'm following up, they're eventually either going to tell me to off, or they're going to say, hey, like, let me see what this person has to say. I think it was about February 27th was when I got my first client. This client paid me $3,500. To you not, I will put the receipt on the screen so you can see, and you'll see all the dates will line up. And at the time, I remember I promised them unlimited emails. I said I was going to help them fix their email flows, and I just kind of carried myself with so much vim, so much riz, so much aura, so much confidence. Like, naturally, I'm a very confident person, but in this moment, like, obviously with everything that happened, my confidence took a huge dip, right? But I just know that I needed to be her. I needed to just show up, right? And I think it was that consultative approach which I had, and I still have till this day, where it's like, I actually genuinely want to help people and I genuinely care. And having that approach was literally what landed me that client. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't know everything about email marketing. Heck, I barely knew how to troubleshoot certain things at the time anyway. But here we are. But I did that, and yeah, like, I think that was literally what stood out for the prospect at the time, or the client at the time, and that was what was able to get me that first client. So I did that. They were impressed. I also took the time to really understand their business, see where there was opportunity to add value, and then I was able to get that client signed on. Now, the next thing was actually delivering for the client. So I delivered for this client like crazy. Like, I worked my ass off. I mean, albeit I did lose the client eventually, I knew that I needed to work my ass off. So that meant being extra proactive, being communicative, making sure that I was responding to every message. Again, I didn't have any job or anything to do, so again, it was my advantage. At the end of the day, I could be so proactive, and they were the only client that I had at the time, and this massively helped. And I remember the day that I sent the first campaign, I just started seeing the dollar signs in the email platform that I was using at the time, which is Klaviyo. And I was like, this thing actually works. Like, I just made this brand like $5,000. Like, they paid me $3,500, and I was contracted to do, I think it was like 3 emails a week. And I thought to myself, what? Like, do the maths. Like, come on, let's do the maths. Like, if I'm sending an email and it's doing 5K and we're sending emails 3 times a week, like, that's potentially 15K. You got to remember that they only paid me $3,500, which means that there was potential for them to make around about 60K a month. And I thought, wow, this thing is actually working. Like, I started to believe my own pitch. I started to believe that, hey, like, this thing actually works. And I think it was at that point that I really had my confidence like skyrocket. Like, I was talking to people and taking calls with my absolute chest, because I knew that, okay, this thing actually works. Now, the minute that I got results for my first client, that just changed the entire game for me, because then I was able to start charging more. Like, I thought, hey, like, I can charge more. Obviously, I think, the $3,500 was inevitably, that was a bit of a fluke. Like, I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. I think that realistically, as a beginner, shouldn't be charging any more than like $1,000 to $1,500, right? And not any less, because you don't want to attract like the bottom barrel of clients and brands. Like, it's just not worth your time. But anyway, I decided that, you know what, like, I can charge more, or I can at least maintain that $3,500, right? And that's what essentially I was doing. I was using that result, and it was just a domino effect. Like, I would speak to people and I would say, hey, like, I just worked with this brand, or I'm working with this brand. We got this result. I think I can do the exact same for you. Is this worth a conversation? And typically, yes, it is worth a conversation. And what I found is that I was working with a lot of apparel and fashion and jewelry brands, and that is where essentially I started putting all my focus in. I thought, okay, like, I want to work with apparel, fashion brands and jewelry brands, and that is essentially like what I was doing at the time. I was reaching out to these type of prospects, and I was using every single case study that I could get and every testimonial that I could get to then get the next client and the next client and the next client. And I remember there was a big client. Till this day, this client brings in so many clients for us. And that client is Nude Projects. I worked with Nude Projects a couple of years ago. I was definitely way more experienced by the time I started working with them. I had a team, I had team members, etc. That testimonial that they did for us.
We've been able to learn so much from you, and it's been very cool to specialize in a field where we had no idea of how to work before. So that was insane, and then the flows have done so much. And personally, on a personal level, I know Alex is really happy with you and your relationship, and you're very funny. It's very funny. In the copies, I'm like, man, this is good, man. This is very
That's good.
Shout out Alex and Bruno. Changed the entire trajectory of my business. There was another brand that I worked with. They went on Shark Tank. I worked with them personally, directly. Again, for my UK people, Shark Tank is essentially like an equivalent of Dragon's Den. And I remember just using that case study. Honestly, it just changed the entire trajectory of my business. It was absolutely crazy. And again, it's just like that domino effect of you get one result here, you use that result to get the next one, and confidence just goes through the roof. So I think I hit my first 10K month. I think it was after like 3 or 5 clients. Obviously, in that time, I had churn and all that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff happens. I also hired like my first real hire. Shout out Leslie. She was from the Philippines. Getting someone else to help was truly, truly like incredible, because it meant that I could just focus on sales. It meant that I had someone that was helping, and that's what I needed at the time. So during that time, obviously 10K, I think I had like I said, like 5 to 6 clients. I started building systems. I started becoming obsessed with creating processes and frameworks and systems, and everything that I was doing, I was recording it. So I was recording it as a video. I was then writing it as a document, which is often referred to as a standard operating procedure. So an SOP, which is just a fancy document that has steps where anybody can take that document and will know exactly how to carry out a specific task. So I did that. Again, absolutely changed the trajectory of my business, because when I started hiring and getting a team, I was then able to use that to train those people. And once you kind of like record all those processes, it's like you do it once and then you don't have to do it again. And it was just incredible to be able to do that. And I think the main thing was the realization, right? It was a realization that, hold on a minute, like, this isn't luck. This is actually a repeatable process and a framework, or frameworks and systems that I've used, and I can just keep using this over and over again. Like, it was absolutely crazy to me. When I hit that 10K, I finally told my wife, I said, yo, quit your job. Let's go traveling. Absolutely insane. Again, she just quit her high paying job. Can't remember how much it was at the time. It might have been like, I think it was maybe like $60,000 or something like that. I really can't remember. It was a lot by, you know, the standard of the UK, especially, like I said in the beginning, she worked for a UK company. But as I quit your job, I said, yo, it, let's go traveling. I remember we packed everything in our apartment and we just went traveling. Like, it was absolutely crazy. And it was supposed to be for 1 year. And literally, as I'm recording this video, we are still traveling. We kind of went a little bit slow this last year. And yeah, we're finally ending the traveling and we're moving to Thailand. And where we're staying is absolutely a place of dreams. I remember very much into like vision boards and stuff like that, especially like during those dark times. And I remember just, you know, creating this vision board. I didn't really think I was gonna like get any of these things or any of this would happen. And I literally remember a couple of weeks ago, I thought, like, I actually did this. Like, every single thing on this vision board I achieved, and our dream villa in Thailand, and, you know, getting a lease for a year, like, insane, right? So yeah, I think being able to travel the world because of this one skill, it goes back to what I said in the beginning, like, this is the catalyst, this is the stepping stone to be able to do great things, and not just for myself but for other people, right? Now, I think like the I made it moment, it wasn't, oh, I'm making 10K a month or 50K or 100K or any of that. Like, it literally was just recently being able to tell my wife, yo, like, you don't have to work anymore. You're retired, B. That is literally the best feeling ever. Because if you go back to the beginning of this video, I said to you, my wife was there when I was in the trenches, in the gutter, down bad. So for me, being able to give her that opportunity is truly, truly a blessing. And also the other made it moment was, you know, my mom lives in Nigeria, and being able to, you know, give her an allowance and her feeling like, you know, she doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to. And I think it's so important to have these things that you work towards and be able to take care of your people. Like, that is the made it moment. I'm not really into materialistic things. For the last 4 years, I've had 3 pairs of shoes, Crocs, I think Birkenstocks, flip-flops. Had to change the footwear a little bit over the last year, but for the most part, the point I'm trying to get at is I don't really care about that stuff. I mean, recently I bought a watch for myself. It was like a really nice vintage AP. I really like that watch. Again, it was something that I've always wanted to get. I didn't feel like I made it when I bought that watch, and I didn't buy that watch to say I made it. I bought that watch because I like the watch, right? It's very different to like your bro watches and your Chad Scaler watches and all that type of stuff. Like, that's not what I bought it for. Again, that wasn't the moment that I'd made it. It was the moment of being able to give back to my wife and her being able to not have to work and being retired and doing whatever the hell she bloody well pleases. Like, that is just beautiful for me, and I wish that for everyone. Honestly, I really do. Now the agency has generated over 5 mil in over 6 years. It's been very tough, very hard. I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke up your ass and tell you, oh, like, so easy. So many times I've wanted to quit. So many times I've just been like, yo, this is not it. But through perseverance, consistency, and resilience, this is why I'm sitting here and sharing this video, because I truly, in my heart, in the depths of my soul, believe that it is just that consistency and being resilient and taking every punch and rolling with the punches that has allowed me to be able to generate this level of success. And I don't even think I'm anywhere near successful. I think that I just stuck through long periods of pain long enough to get the result that I've gotten. I do truly believe that this email marketing agency and what I've done and the skills that I've built for myself are really setting me up for the next chapter of my life in terms of growth, in terms of other projects and ventures and stuff like that. And I think that is the most important thing, is being able to have something that sets the foundation and it becomes the catalyst to growth and success. Like, for me, there are so many things I want to do, like philanthropy, like work, like giving back, like helping people, like is important for me, and it's something that gets me giddy, gets me excited. Like, I love helping people, and the agency wouldn't be possible without it. In the 6 years, I've worked with over 200 brands, worked with big brands, small brands. I've generated these brands millions, like absolute millions. I've traveled the world. I've traveled to, I think it's like 20 countries in 4 years, and that was whilst I was running the agency. And again, it's all because of this skill and this business. It's just crazy to me, honestly. Like, I don't even feel like I've reached my peak. I feel like I'm just getting started. I feel like a small fish. I am probably a little bit hard on myself, but I do feel like there's just so much more that I can do and that I can give and that is out there. Now, I am not your average guru or your bro marketer or any of that bull. I'm very much the type of person that would drink my own Kool-Aid. I do the that I talk about. I am really about this life. And what I mean by that is, I think it was a couple years ago, I opened up a small kind of like cohort of coaching and mentorship, and I helped so many people. I remember helping Jeannie, and Jeannie was someone that, came to me and she said, hey, like, I need some mentorship and some coaching. At the time, I wasn't like formally doing this, but I remember helping Jeannie, and, she was able to quit her job. She was able to land her first couple of clients. And again, that's the stuff that gives me energy, man. It's not about, oh, I bought this watch, or oh, I'm making 6 figures or 7 figures a year, or any of that nonsense. Like, that is not what gives me energy. That is not what gets me excited. And I don't mean to sound cringe or cheesy or corny, but it's the truth. Like, helping people is what gives me that real fulfillment, and allowing myself to kind of like submit to helping people and being able to serve people. It's a euphoric feeling. I remember Jeannie quit her job. I think she was making around about 10K a month. She had multiple clients, and again, such an amazing opportunity to be able to do that for someone. Then I had recently Nicole, who again was one of my students. Shout out Nicole. Now, if I'm not mistaken, she's in Bali or Vietnam. She literally just quit her job like a couple of months ago, and she was someone again that I was working with, quit her job, and she's now traveling the world. Probably will meet her when I move to Thailand, because she's gonna be in Thailand. Maybe we'll do a video or something. But yeah, she was able to quit her job and making a very decent amount of money again, which is amazing. I had Adrian, again, another person that I worked with. Adrian got his first client in 30 days of me just kind of like coaching him and mentoring him very lightly. I had Claudia and Matt. They were actually existing agency owners that I helped as well, and I was able to help them scale their business and grow their business. And then I had Alexandra, again, an established agency owner, and I was able to help him increase the revenue of his business. Again, all this is just from my own personal experiences and teaching these people and showing them the proven systems and frameworks that I've developed over the years, and then giving that to them as a tool and them actually doing the work themselves. I could sit here and take all the credit. Like, I can't take the credit, because at the end of the day, the hustle was never included, right? These guys did whatever they needed to do to get the job done. I think that is super, super important. I think we're in this generation and era where there's so much like, oh, like, get to 10K a month in 30 days, like all this or use AI to do cool. Like, no, that's just not gonna happen. I will just keep it a buck with you. Even in this new era of AI and new things happening, that is not going to happen. You are still going to need to put in the work. And I think it's that resilience and that tenacity and that, hey, like, I don't have a plan B. There's no such thing as a plan B. This has to work. I think is so important. I always tell people, I have a mantra and a philosophy of, you do one skill, you get good enough where you can start charging people within the first 30 days. And then rather than thinking in months and weeks and years, you think in decades. You think about getting to that level of mastery to be able to then be the absolute best at what it is that you do. And I think that all comes down to resilience and tenacity, and to just keep doing the things that you know you need to do. I think it's super important that you fall in love with the game, because then the game will be good to you, and it's just that simple. Now, one thing I want to say is, obviously, not everyone needs to lose their job to be able to start a successful business. If you're probably watching this, you probably already have a job, you've got a bit of stability, you're probably making decent money. I wholeheartedly think that literally anyone can do exactly what I've done in 12 weeks or even less. Literally by having the right guidance, the right mentorship, the right frameworks, systems, and processes. Remember, hustle is not included, but I strongly believe that you can achieve this level of success within that kind of period. And you can actually do it while you're in your 9 to 5. You can do it if you have kids. You can do it if you have a busy job. You can do it if you're doing the masters, or you're going to school, or university, or whatever that may be. Like, you can do this. It's very simple. The way that I break it down is, weeks 1 to 4, you're going to learn the skill set, right? You're going to learn about email marketing, you're going to learn about sales, and you are going to learn about the platform that you use for email marketing. Then in week 5 to 8, you're going to land your first 1 to 2 clients. That's when it's going to start feeling real. That's when it's going to start feeling like, wow, like all the effort that I've put into this is actually paying off, right? And then weeks 9 to 12 is where you can literally scale this shit to the moon. This is when you have more clients, albeit, yeah, you might churn 1 or 2 clients. It's totally normal. You can scale this thing as high as you want, and you don't need to, right? Like, I really don't like the way people have this kind of like more is better and all this type of and all this hustle culture. Like, look, like, you might just need 5k a month, you might just need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever that may be. You might not necessarily need 50k a month. Heck, you might not even need 100k a month, right? Like, what the are you doing with all that money, first and foremost, right? No one needs that amount of money. And some might say, oh, that's cope, or all that kind of like, for you as a beginner, I think the most important thing is just getting to that point of, okay, like, I don't need to have a job. I am able to fully like provide for myself, my family, and I feel like I'm in a good place. This is super important. I think it's important to understand what you want and not the idea of what other people and ideologies that other people are pushing onto you. This is very important. I would highly recommend that you actually look at what your dream life costs, because you'll be surprised how little it is compared to what you thought. Very important. Now, in terms of like what it takes, like if we're really just having a reality check, again, I'm never going to blow smoke up your ass. This is going to take work. You're going to have to like wake up earlier. You're going to have to spend at least 8 to 10 hours a week solely just trying to make this work. But I guarantee you, it is 1000% going to be the very best investment that you make in yourself, period. Because as I said in the beginning, the goal isn't to be the best email marketer in the world. The goal isn't that, oh, it stops here. Heck, like, this could just be the stepping stone, right? This could be what kind of gets you into other ventures like property or another business or whatever. Like, you need to start somewhere. And that's why like 8 to 10 hours, like that type of sacrifice for a lifetime of enjoyment, a lifetime of generational wealth, boy, I take that any day of the freaking week. I know a lot of people will say, oh, like, quit your 9 to 5 and then, go and start a business. No, like, leverage your 9 to 5. Your 9 to 5 is leverage. That's all it is right now. If you are looking to get into, online business, you need to leverage that. Then you need to start building that pot, that safety net. And the only way you can do that is if you learn a high income skill and you have that consistent money coming in every month. And that's the beauty of, email marketing and offering it as a service, is because every single month you're going to have clients that are paying you, and you can put that money to the side, and then you just survive off what you're getting from your job. And then it compounds. You get one client month 1, another in month 2, another 2 to 3 a month. Can you see the way like it's compounding? So I want to leave you with 4 lessons. Lesson 1, no one, and I mean absolutely no one, not your mom, your dad, your grandma, your neighbor's dog, no one is coming to save you. Quit the victim mindset. Quit thinking the world owes you this, oh, the government's this, oh, da, da, da. Like, I don't even listen to the news. Like, I don't know what's going on. I only check the news to make sure like I know what's going on in specific countries that I'm traveling to. Other than that, I don't listen or feed into any of that, bullshit propaganda. And the reason why is because people are so used to the victim mindset. You're upset that the government is not giving this. You're upset your boss didn't give you that. Like, come on, no one's coming to save you. And realistically, the comfort of your 9 to 5 is the enemy of growth. I'll say that again. The comfort of your 9 to 5 is quite literally the enemy of your growth. Lesson 2, you don't need to be the best. We're not chasing mastery or perfection. You just need to be good enough. You just need to be 7 out of 10. Get out of your head. Do you think I think I'm good on camera and recording this and doing all of this stuff? No, I just need to be good enough to deliver the value and the message to you to be able to take action. To be honest, proficiency is enough to start getting paid while you improve. Lesson 3, proof compounds. Every single client makes the next client that much easier to sign. It's gonna get easier. It's never gonna get harder. Trust me. And lesson number 4, you can 1000% do this while you have a job. Don't be like me, complaining, and the universe humbles you and really gives you that thing that you've manifested, which is not having a job. Don't be like me. Use your 9 to 5 as leverage. It is a form of currency, just not the currency that you want right now, but it is a form of currency. It is a form of leverage, and you need to use it in order for you to be able to get to that point where you feel comfortable, where you have that financial and location freedom.